Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Rayo, and today we have a new pick a group reading. This pick a group reading is called Comfort from the Magic Shop. It is a BTS inspired reading. Overall, the concept, the idea of the magic shop is to provide you comfort. It's a place you can go when you're feeling really run down, when you're feeling really tired, when things are very difficult or hard, and you just get some comfort. It doesn't necessarily fix the situation, but it allows you to just take that little bit of a rest and know things will eventually turn out to be okay. So the emphasis, the energy that we're offering in this reading is one of comfort and a little bit of knowledge. In my opinion, knowledge is power, and power brings me, or the knowledge that comes from that brings me some comfort as well, because then I know what to do. I have power in the situation and I know how to proceed forward and know how to progress the situation in a positive way. So we are picking from 4 different groups today. It is a pick a card, and our pick a card comes from this really interesting little deck I have called the Pixiekins. It is not a oracle deck by any means. It's not a tarot deck. It's just a little inspiration deck that has these cute little creatures on them. You'll see in the readings. But the art style is very interesting, and I wanted something that was very different than I had in previous pick a group readings, the cards that I was having around to pick from. But just very interesting little doodles, little creations here from Paulina Cassidy. So when you are ready, you can hop over into the pick a group section next and see which of these little fun little beings call out to you. Maybe the little message on the bottom of the card. There's a little phrase on the bottom of each of these cards. So see what calls out to you, what brings you the most comfort or is interesting or catches your eye, and proceed then to your reading and the timestamps down below. And I will see you over there. Have a good one. Bye. Hello, welcome to the pick a card section of this reading. So group number 1 over here is Patsy and Jelly Root. It says give yourself permission to cut loose. So we've got a very interesting creature. I'm assuming that one's Jelly Root, our little blue striped fella, and then our girl up here, Patsy, holding what looks like a lot of lights or balloons. There's some bells, it looks kind of snowy. Very fun and playful energy for sure, right? So this is group number 1. Group number 2 is our Octo Girly. So it says, learning a new way to think helps you master a new way to be. Very interesting. She kind of reminds me of Wednesday Addams from the Addams Family a little bit. We see the 8s in her hair here especially, and then we see the octo part more so with her feet at the bottom. She's holding a cute little creature here. Has what looks like a fish on her head. So this is group number 2, Octo Girly. Feels very like the eccentricities and uniqueness, right? Okay. Group number 2, this is group number 3 now. This is Holly, Poppet, and Endris. This be the reason somebody smiles today. Got our little witch here, and what looks like a dragon with hearts in the backpack and holding a heart and little hearts coming up from the top there, if you can see. Little magic, little pleasures, little joys, right? Super cute. So this is group number 3. And then finally group number 4 here, Kooky Cat. It says make a little mischief. So you got a couple pumpkins here, gray black cat, very Halloween-y. That mischievous energy is very prevalent in this card for sure. And just a cute, fun little card. Okay. So these are our 4 groups to pick from today, our 4 different cards, and what we're getting comfort from the magic shop involving these cards. So when you're ready, feel free to pause the video if you need more time to pick a group, but when you're ready, go ahead and click down to your timestamp in the drop box down below, and I'll see you over there in the video. Bye. Hello, group number 1. So you picked this lovely little card, Patsy and Jelly Root, and our comfort advice on the bottom here says, give yourself permission to cut loose. So cute little card. We've got this girl on the top here riding this very peculiar animal. This whole deck's very, very interesting. The artwork is very interesting. So I'll leave information about this deck in the box down below, so feel free to take a peek at that if these cards are interesting to you. But let me tell you about the reading today. So we'll put your card over here for the moment. We'll get it back in view in a second. But first, what we're going to do is we're going to pull some cards that offer some comfort. That's the whole point of this reading, right? We have a very difficult world that we live in, so we just need some comfort here and there. So let's get some of that comfort for you. We'll pull a card from the Rose Oracle here and one from Enchanted Blossoms. These are kind of going to be our comfort energy, and then we're seeing a little bit what we're dealing with over here. We're not going to get as heavy into this as I might in other readings, where it's like, okay, what's going on? What are we doing? What do we need to do? No, the purpose is comfort here. But we do want to know what lesson we're dealing with, right? Well, this is kind of knowledge is power at the end of the day. So knowing that the comfort that is being offered to you with these cards over here is directly applying to the Soul's Journey card, this life lesson, whatever it may be, this kind of big picture lesson. And then with our Alchemy card here, we're seeing how things are changing and progressing in the situation, okay? Which can also offer some comfort about the entire situation. I like to know how things are going to change, or as I'm making these choices and changes and everything, that it's going to affect something, okay? So that is how our reading is going to go. So we'll get started now with our Rose Oracle. These guys out of the way for now. Okay. This is a deck I didn't quite know for the longest time how I was going to end up using it, but this reading ended up coming along, and I'm really excited that it gets to offer you some comfort and advice and knowledge, and I get to use it. So, okay. Rose Oracle for group number 1, the Patsy and Jelly Roots group here. What comfort can we offer them today? What comfort can we offer group number 1 here? Few too many cards here. Okay, let's shuffle out of these ones. That one? Okay. So this one says the Mystic Rose, compassion, devotion, humility, humanity, and grace. Beautiful, beautiful card. For whoever it's relevant to, there's definitely a lot of religious symbolism in this card. So the Mystic Rose is our first card for this deck. And we'll grab our Enchanted Blossoms, and then I will tell you about these two cards before we move on, okay? So next is Enchanted Blossoms. Let's pull this card now. Okay. Okay. Enchanted Blossoms, what comfort can we give to group number 1 here? What about their situation that they're asking about, our Patsy and Jelly Root group? What comfort can we give to group number 1? Too many cards. Too many cards. Oh, I was thinking about that. Too many cards. Okay, it threw that in the face up over here, so we'll go with that. Top card, Hope. Well, makes sense, right? Okay, here is a close-up of this beautiful card. This is Hope, Hawthorn, and then Black Veined White. There's kind of some commonalities with our card that we picked for the group here. There's some symbolism and color and everything. Okay. So the comfort that's being offered to you here, group number 1, we have the Mystic Rose and Hope. Just get things cleaned up a bit here, get stuff out of my way. all the cards end up everywhere as the reading goes on, and the boxes end up everywhere. Okay. Okie doke. So with these two cards coming out here, group number 1, your initial card is give permission to cut loose, right? And what these two cards are giving you comfort about, what they're offering you, is telling you that you need to give a lot of grace, humility, and comfort and compassion to yourself. It is being offered to you through this Mystic Rose energy and through this Hope energy for both of these cards here. The situation you've been going through, whatever it may be, sounds and feels very, very difficult. And it's asking you in multiple ways to give love and compassion to yourself, and to also release yourself from this thing that has been draining you, that has been hurting you and depleting you for such a long time, right? This initial card, you were drawn to group number 1 here for this, giving yourself permission to cut loose, right? Giving yourself permission to let go, giving yourself permission to maybe place some boundaries, giving yourself permission to take care of yourself. You've been taking care of others for so long. You've been giving this Mystic Rose energy. You've been giving this Hope energy to others for such a long, long period of time. And now it's time to give some of that to yourself, right? You're being given this energy from the universe. You're being given people in your life maybe that want to offer this kind of energy to you, that want to offer you more light in the darkness of hope here, and that want to offer you more compassion and grace with this Mystic Rose energy, right? The Rose energy is very healing. It's deeply, deeply compassionate. And that is something that's being offered to you from others, definitely from the universe here. And then something that you should be offering yourself in order to provide yourself more healing and ultimately more comfort here, right? Knowing that you have this energy around you, you just have to find the right place to look for it. And if it's not here yet, keeping in mind this Hope card here, that there's the light at the end of the tunnel here, right? We just have to get through maybe a little bit more, but that you can see that light that's coming through. And if you keep pushing for just a little bit longer, you'll ultimately make it out of the situation that you're in here. You can actually cut loose of whatever negativity that's been holding you back, whatever the situation may be, okay? So those are our first two cards here. So now I'm definitely really curious about the lesson that this is tied into with our spirit lesson cards, and then how this situation's progressing, right? So already it feels like with this Hope card here that the situation's going to end soon. Whatever it is, whatever that has been really, really difficult lately is coming to an end, and you will finally have more peace, more compassion in your life here, okay? So Soul's Journey cards for group number 1. What lesson are we dealing with here? What lesson are we a part of? How can we further comfort group number 1 by knowing what's going on here? What lesson is going on? Okay, indecision. Come on, focus. Maybe. You can really see the camera. It says, I use my intuition in all aspects of life. And look at how much that red energy is there. This card has also got failure and adversity, which also makes sense, but with our card here. So the decision to cut loose here, right, that drew you to this group number 1, that drew you to this group, people in group number 1. There's an aspect, the lesson here is indecision, right? There is different ways the path could go. And what it feels like with the Mystic Rose energy is there's a struggle here to make the right decision potentially, and being able to offer compassion to ourselves through that situation. Yeah, like, again, this reading is focused on comfort, providing you comfort, giving you comfort from the magic shop. What we can offer you that will help you feel better about what's going on, that can help you through a difficult time right now, right? And with our Hope energy here, I'm also drawn to the like coloring in our little dragon here. Has some kind of purple aspects to it that are similar in our indecision card. And again, knowing that the situation is coming to a head. It's finishing up here finally. So we really, the focus here is self-care, is taking care of ourselves by giving ourselves permission to move forward and progress. And this is why we're dealing with indecision here, right? This is why we don't know which way to go, which way makes the most sense. Maybe we are not offering ourselves enough compassion because it's been lacking in our lives for so long, and we're trying to figure out the best way to progress, because it feels like we've been like people pleasing too long, if that makes sense for this group. It feels like we've been the focus has been others for so long. We have not been taking care of ourselves like we should, offering ourselves this mystic rose energy, because we've been taking care of others for so long. So we don't know what we want anymore. We don't know what is good for us, what makes the most sense for us. We've like lost our hope, our drive, our passion in this situation. So it's an interesting energy, right? I feel like I'm kind of like in the dark with this like tunnel, the light at the end of the tunnel, but it feels like there is paths veering off, and I don't know which way to go. Like I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I know there's a couple other paths, and I don't know which way makes the most sense to go, even though I do see the light right there. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. Let's pull our last card here from Alchemy. Alchemy talks about transformation, how things can change. It's that alchemical process, turning lead into gold, for example. It's the Philosopher's Stone from Harry Potter, Sorcerer's Stone. And putting in the work and the experimentation in order to change the situation. So let's get some more information here. Okay. Alchemy, for group number 1, what comfort can we offer to this group? We know it's a part of indecision, but we have hope and the mystic rose. What comfort can we offer group number 1 here about how their situation is transforming, changing? It's too many cards, but Ash, I'll keep Ash in mind. Kind of that dark, right? Ooh, okay. Chiron. That makes sense. And look at that red. Okay, group number 1. I am really drawn to the red energy in this group. We are dealing with something that is very deep down, like root chakra-esque. It is our the root chakra is our safety, right? It is our grounding. It is the baseline of our needs. Root chakra deals with our home and having enough water and shelter. It's that energy. So there is deep healing going on too, with Chiron, especially Chiron coming out, and with indecision, the mystic rose, which is also like deep devotion and healing. Whew, strong energy here, group number 1. Okay, let's clean this up a tidge here. And let's look a little bit deeper at our last 2 cards here, indecision and Chiron. The energy that's being offered here for you, group number 1, for comfort, the mystic rose and the hope, is because we are dealing with some deep pain here, right? Chiron is the wounded healer. It is our deepest wounds, the things that have been hurt for a really long time, and that almost make up for what we feel like they make up a part of who we are. It's a wound that feels like it's like part of our identity at this point, is like how deep Chiron energy runs. But it's with that deepest wounds where the deepest healing is as well. And it makes sense now why the comfort being offered to you from the magic shop here, group number 1, is this energy of the mystic rose and hope, knowing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, right? You're being called to like the fork in the path that talks about indecision in the book here. Its description talks about the fork in the road that you're dealing with, trying to go one way or the other. And for you, it might be even multiple, more than that. But to analyze each path and to feel what feels right, to see if a path going down, maybe the path that is the light at the end of the tunnel, is not the path that feels right. It's not the path that feels good. Or maybe it is, because it is the light at the end of the tunnel in this case, but you're being pulled by others, maybe family members, society, structures, whatever it may be. You're being pulled down a different path that just seems scary and dark and doesn't feel right. And you can't see any light down that path, right? So it's almost interesting for looking at this Chiron here, right, too, because it's like a flashlight. This red energy is a flashlight, and it's coming out, and I'm drawn to the way it also looks in this mystic heart here, right, where it's this illumination, right? But it's not a light illumination. It's not like white light here. Look closer at this one here. It has more of a pinky red color, right? And the focus is the red heart at the center, and that's in a spot of illumination coming out. And it's a question of if the easiest path is the right path, and who is saying what path is the right path here. And that's where this indecision is coming in, right? You're being pulled two different directions based on what you feel like you should do and what others feel like you should do, right? And this is why we come back around to our initial card. And it's funny because these are just what look like silly little cards here, but they're actually very, very strong energy. And it says, give yourself permission to cut loose, right? Give yourself permission to go the way you want to go, to do the things you want to do. Give yourself that permission. Cut yourself loose from the expectations that have been put on you. And it's really interesting here with this Chiron energy as well, right? Because it's saying give yourself permission to cut. Let's see, get closer, look, cut loose. C-U-T, cut loose. And our Chiron right here has the motion of scissors, right? It's scissors and rock, paper, scissors. It's rock, paper, scissors. And that's literally scissors in this card for cutting. Cutting is also a type of, like, it can be a type of wounding, right? So we're talking about our wounds. We're talking about how we've been hurt. So ultimately for you, group number one, the advice that's being offered to you is you're at an impasse here. You are trying to heal this deep wounds that you have. You are being pulled in all these different directions. You can't make a decision about what you want to do. And it's tied into deep wounding that happened when you were young, maybe that is maybe past life, whatever, and however you believe in these things. And you're being called, you feel called to cut loose from the situation, to let go of these expectations that others have for you. And the comfort that is being offered to you in this reading here is to give yourself a whole ton of compassion here. Give yourself so much compassion, because you're dealing with deep wounding here, first off, right? We're talking about the Mystic Rose energy here, which is tied in with the goddess energy. It's tied in with Mary from Christianity, Mother Mary. And that is deep healing energy as well. That is deep healing energy. And it's wanting you to offer it to yourself. And it's telling you that this is the kind of healing that is taking place as well. It is telling you the level of healing that we're working with. And offering you more comfort here is this hope here, that there is an end in sight, that there is this means something, it has a purpose. Not that it makes it easier to go through, of course, but that this will get better. It will make a difference in the long run, and it will change things for you if you give yourself this compassion and make the choice that seems harder in the moment, that seems more difficult, but you ultimately know with this indecision energy, this lesson you're working on, that it is the right choice for you, that it is the right path. So you have to give yourself more compassion, and you're being offered by the universe there are people in your life that want to give you this compassion as well, but that it's going to be, the situation is difficult to deal with, but you have support. And if you love yourself through it and take care of yourself, it'll ultimately bring you lots of good, joyful, hopeful things, and you heal this deep wound with Chiron here. Whew. So group number one, I hope this makes sense. It's interesting because this is a new reading style, so we're I'm seeing how it builds out and how the story unfolds, because it's very different than other readings that I've done. But the comfort that's being offered to you is compassion and hope, and that the bad things, the healing ultimately will take place and things will get better, okay? Knowing that there is an end in sight, and that you cutting loose from the things that don't serve you will ultimately bring more positivity, compassionate humility, and grace into your life. And I can feel it. I hope this is helpful for you, group number 1. I hope this gave you some comfort here. We know what you're dealing with. We know it's very heavy. We know it's very daunting and mentally taxing, and maybe emotionally, physically, spiritually, all that above. But you have compassion around you, for you, and that there is hope for this situation, okay? So group number 1, I hope this was helpful to you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are in space and time, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye. Hello, group number 2, the Octo Girly group. Very interesting card here. The hair, the feet, little monster. But it says, learning a new way to think helps you master a new way to be. So the comfort coming from the magic shop here, group number 2, off the bat, is already saying that new energy is coming in and that things will be different with this new energy here, okay? So let's see how this progresses with the reading. So I'm going to put your card over to the side here. It'll be in frame here once we get the cards out. So, but what we'll do first is we'll get 2 cards each from these 2 decks here, one from the Rose Oracle and one from the Enchanted Blossoms. And this is the comfort energy that the universe is trying to offer you in this reading, telling you about the reading, what's going on, and what comfort is around you, it's offering to you, that you can offer yourself. It's going to kind of depending on the reading here. And then probably I should get these first, but I've been doing them second so far, is we're going to get a card from the Soul's Journey Lesson cards and then one from the Alchemy deck here. And the Soul's Journey Lesson cards gives us the big overall picture, the big lesson that this situation is a part of, that we need comfort in, this lesson we're learning and getting comfort about. And then the Alchemy deck tells us about how the situation is changing and progressing, and that how it'll look different, because ultimately whatever the situation is that you're asking about here, group number 2, that you're dealing with in your life, you need some just comfort, some reassurance about it, and some of the best reassurance I found is what's going to end up changing. So let us get started now. We'll pull one from each of these decks over here, get these guys out of the way for now, and get our first one here from the Rose Oracle, and we'll have our card up in the corner here. So my stomach's growling. So the Rose Oracle is one of my newer decks. I have not used it a ton yet, but I haven't found the right reading to use it for, and I think this is a really good first reading for it. So I'm excited how this reading's been turning out so far. Let's see. Okay. Rose Oracle, for group number 2 here, what comfort can we offer them? What information for comfort can we offer group number 2 here? What comfort do you want to give group number 2? On top here. Okay. So this is the Breathing Rose, heart healing, emotions, connection, time eases. Well, doesn't that make sense too, right? Beautiful, beautiful card. So of course, since this deck is called the Rose Oracle, the rose is the most relevant symbol within this deck. So just keep that in mind if you are cross-watching any of the other groups. This rose symbolism is going to be very, very prevalent because it is called the Rose Oracle after all. But so this is our first card. I'm going to grab a card from the Enchanted Blossoms deck now, and then we'll read them together, okay? get too many decks out and I have them open and then I don't know where to put everything. The boxes and then the guidebooks and then the cards themselves after I get a card. Okay, Enchanted Blossoms for group number 2 here. What comfort can we offer group number 2 about their situation that they're dealing with? What comfort can we offer to group number 2 for their situation? That one. Okay. Protection. Eucalyptus and the Monarch. Very, very pretty. Okay. So just off the bat, before we dive further in with this protection card, Monarch, whatever the situation is, whatever we are trying to learn and figure out, you are being protected through this situation, through this learning process. That's what it feels like. Very, very pretty set of cards. Okay. So now let's get a little bit further into these two and how they tie in with our Octo Girly card here before we dive into our bigger lessons, okay? So our energy here, group number 2, the comfort that's being offered to you from the magic shop. We're talking about the breathing rose and protection and how they tie in together, right? So our breathing rose card here, it says heart healing, emotions, connection, time eases, right? So we're doing some very, very deep healing right now. There's been whatever situation you're in, you are potentially healing from that situation, or it's a situation that is very, very trying right now. And with this breathing rose card, there is a deep healing that's happening, which also ends up in the long run being a very deep transformation, right? And this is what ties into our Octo Girly card here. Learning a new way to think helps you master a new way to be. So we're healing a old, maybe deep wound, it feels like. And we are therefore progressing and changing our situation, right? It's only by doing something different that we can have a new outcome to the situation, right? And we can only realize what we've been repeating cyclically over and over again if we do this really deep healing. The comfort that's coming in is with this healing taking place here, right? There is a lot of compassion and care that's going into it. It's what you can offer yourself, and it's what the universe is offering you here too. And this is really reflected here in our protection card with the Monarch, Butterfly, Eucalyptus energy. With this card, right, the universe is saying, with the magic shop, this energy is saying that, hey, you are protected through all of this. You have a safe place to process this deep healing that you're going through, right? Healing, especially deep wounds, trauma that's happened, things that have hurt us to a very deep level, or things that have happened cyclically that are like ancestral energy, these like deep, even like genetic wounds, take a lot of time and energy, and there's a vulnerability to that type of healing, right? And so what the universe is offering in terms of comfort is saying, hey, you're protected through all of this. The situation that you're going through, there's people around you that will hold you, that will take care of you, that are going to offer you advice and care through this situation, that want to be there, and that the space you're in, the space that is needed in order to process this deep level of healing that you're working on here, group number 2, is divinely protected here. With this Monarch Butterfly energy, this protection energy, it's like, hey, you are protected, you are safe, this is a safe place to do this, this is maybe a safe person to talk to about this situation, whether that's a parent, therapist, friend, significant other, whoever that may be. This is a person that wants to protect you, that has your best interest at heart, and is giving you that safe place, that protection in order to process this deep emotion here, this deep wounding, this deep healing that's taking place. This might end up being collective for this entire video as a whole, because group 1 also talked about this deep healing that's taking place. I'll be curious what comes out with your Soul's Journey cards and your Alchemy card. But there was also a theme there of like deep wounded healing that's taking place. So that just might be a collective theme right now for this reading. I really like your Octo Girly card. It was a very interesting little card that came out in this deck that I'm using. This Daily Inspirations deck here. It just was like I needed something different to open up this reading with and to like pick a group, and the artwork here is very unique. And apparently there are 72 of these little different creatures and beings. And our Octo Girly card here. She has an interesting feel to her, doesn't she? A unique way of being for sure, right? There is a calmness in her energy where she does not seem to care what other people may think of her, right? Her oddities, her quirks, her eccentricities. And so keep that in mind if these are things that you've been hurt for in the past, if you've been bullied, or if you were told off for it, for those things that are odd about you, maybe coming back around and giving that area of your life some healing, right? That deep heart healing, those deep emotions, connection to self. And with your comfort that's being offered here, right, with this time eases as your last kind of keyword on this card, that's a type of protection in and of itself, right? Time itself being the protection and easing as things progress and change, and that things will eventually be different. Okay, so let's jump into our little bit more information about this. So it's comforting to hear, of course, right? But we want some information maybe about what this is dealing with and how it's going to change. Because I know if I'm going through a sucky situation, I want to maybe know what's going on or what it's tied into. Maybe there's some bigger lessons there for me to peek into. And then ultimately with the Alchemy deck that we're going to look at, seeing how that can transform. So, but let's get a card now from our Soul's Journey cards. These Soul's Journey lesson cards, I love using them to get the big idea, the big picture. Okay. Soul's Journey cards for group number 2 here. What are we dealing with? What's the energy that we're dealing with? Get this out of the way real fast. There we go. What's the energy that we're dealing with for this situation here? Group number 2, for group number 2. What's the lesson we're learning? Thank you. Okay. This card's over there. And we have honesty. Interesting. Okay. So it says, I can't expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. So just off the bat, before we'll get the other card and then I'll dive further into both of them, but just the honesty piece of being honest and true to ourselves, right? Going back to our Octo Girly here and her eccentricities and the way she wants to express herself in the world, her being completely honest with herself, right? So this is the lesson we are working through with this energy that we're getting comfort about the situation here for group number 2, this lesson of honesty, and however that may look. But let's see how this situation changes and progresses here with Alchemy. Alchemy for group number 2 here. How is this lesson changing and progressing? What information and comfort can we offer to group number 2? What's changing about this? There we go, thank you. Krans is making minis of all their decks, and this will be one. I love this deck, but it's a little difficult to shuffle sometimes, so I'll be glad when there is a miniature version that maybe is a little bit easier. The cards are still a unique shape at the end of the day, but actually let's put the cards over here. But that might be helpful. Okay, so the card that came out here in group number 2 is Glass. I feel like I can already see where this is going, but oh, This is not one card I've seen very often. It's really, really pretty, and it's showing up really well on camera. So it's just very striking, right? But looking at ourselves clearly, right? We're talking about honesty here and being able to see ourselves clearly and completely. But let's dive in a little bit deeper into our bottom 2 cards here and see what comfort we can glean, what the lesson is about, getting that comfort from information here, okay? So keywords coming out of the glass card, right? We have transparency, focus, perception. And it's a really interesting card because the first thing that kind of comes to mind when we're talking about glass, at least for me, and ties in specifically with the other deck I'm using, is the rose and rose colored glasses, right? Or rose tinted glasses. And that's definitely ties in with our theme of honesty here, right? So what it feels like here for group number 2, for you all that are watching this video, is that you maybe haven't had a safe place to be authentically yourself. And the honesty card here is, well, maybe that's not out in the world, but you can always be honest with yourself, right? But we can only really, really do that by having a clear vision of ourselves, seeing things clearly through the glass. And that ties in with our Octo Girly card over here, right? Where it's learning a new way to think, so you have a new way to be. And we only do that, we can only find a new way to be if our vision is clear, right? If our perception is clear. And we also only do that by being honest with ourselves, because we have to be a true version of ourselves in order to see things clearly, to be able to perceive things in a way that is authentic and honest and true. And we keep doing that. It's very layered here, right? So it's like we can only see clearly if we're honest with ourselves. We can only be honest with ourselves if we feel safe to do so. And we only feel safe to do so if we give ourselves the emotional healing and or we have this healing here that's taking place, knowing that there is a safe place to do this. So therefore we can be honest with ourselves and see things clearly. Very, very well tied in together here, group number 2. So the comfort I want to offer you, that this reading wants to offer you here, is that you are safe. There is opportunity here to provide safety to yourself, protection for yourself as you're going through this deep healing, and maybe also seeing clearly that there are others around you that want to support you in this journey, that want to protect you, give you that safe place, that do accept you completely for your oddities and the truest authentic version of yourself, right? They maybe see you more clearly than you can see yourself right now. And that's part of this deep healing that's going on here, right? Where we can finally see ourselves clearly, be honest with ourselves, who we are, who we want to be, and progressing that energy in a way where we can actually finally move through and be an authentic version of ourselves, right? Where we can actually do things differently finally, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That's a quote that always stays in my head, and I have to remind myself of sometimes when I feel like I've gotten stuck in a rut for too long. And the point here for you, group number 2, is that you are supported while you're breaking these cycles. You are protected, and you are being offered the opportunity to heal. There is much connection and relief that will come from doing this healing with this breathing rose energy, and with that energy present and all around you, it feels like you will, at the end of this, as you finish going through this process, you'll see a new, honest, clearer version of yourself. And that version of yourself can express themselves in a way that is new and fresh and brings new opportunities and situations and people into your life, and offers you more safe places and protection and ease of mind in the long run too, right? And ultimately, what it feels like it offers you too is that you are going to be your biggest fighter, you're the one always in your corner, right? And seeing yourself clearly that way, seeing yourself in a way where you know you have your own back here, right? Knowing that you are going to take care of yourself, you are going to protect yourself. There are others who want to give you this energy as well, but ultimately it's up to your lesson that you're working through is this honesty here, right? Being true and honest to yourself. You can't guarantee that others will do that for you because we can't control others. Everybody has their own free will, but you can always control what you expect from yourself here, right? I can expect it from myself, the card says. Can always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. So you can always be your I just want to say biggest fighter again, but that's kind of the energy that it is, but it's more than that, right? You can always be true to yourself and ultimately be the one who is going to love yourself the most, right? You will always going to be the one who knows yourself the most, and therefore you need to be the one who's most honest with yourself, that can always be honest with themselves and take care of themselves and offer themselves this protection, right? So make sure that you are keeping this glass clean as you're progressing through the situation here, group number 2, and know that you have this protection while you're going through this deep healing here, okay? But just keep your vision clear, the reason why you're doing this, the reason why you're putting in this time and effort, and being true to yourself in the long run, okay? It's a wonderful comfort to me reading this for you and stuff, knowing that you have this safety around you. You'll have to maybe look for it. You maybe have to clean the glass in order to see it clearly and properly, but it is present, okay? So just keep that in mind here, group number 2. That is all I have for you, though. I hope this reading resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort from the magic shop here, brought you some positive energy and eased your mind a little bit. But I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are in space and time, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Hello, group number 3, the Holly, Poppet, and Endris group. Our little, what looks like witch here and a dragon. So be the reason somebody smiles today. So the comfort energy that we're being offered from the magic shop here seems to be the little pleasures in life, right? I'm looking at these like little hearts on the top here. Let's see if we can focus in. Maybe. Come on. There we go. Yeah, those little pleasures, those little things that keep the day fun, that keep the day engaging, that make life worth living, right? So it feels like for just off the bat here, the universe is like, hey, pay attention to these things. There is so much beauty around you, so many things that offer you comfort and pleasure and happiness and joy, and we need to pay attention to that, right? And it could be the smile that somebody offers you that day, or you can be that for somebody else here, okay? So we're going to put this card over to the side here for a minute. It'll be back in frame, but our reading today, we're going to pull a card from the Rose Oracle and from the Enchanted Blossoms, and this is the comfort that the universe is offering you here. Comfort from the magic shop about what's going on with your situation, what we can offer to you. And then after we talk about those 2 cards, we'll pull one from the Soul's Journey cards here and one from Alchemy. And that'll talk more about the lesson that's a part of, kind of give you that knowledge. I find personally that knowledge is power, and that knowledge brings me comfort about the situation. So we want to kind of know what lesson this situation is part of that you're asking for comfort about, and then how the situation will change and progress here with Alchemy, because Alchemy is our transformation energy, okay? So let us get started now. Let me get these guys out of the way here, and we'll get started with our Rose Oracle. We can get our card back in frame over here now. Okay. So this is a newer deck to my collection that I've been, this is what I've been explaining to all the groups so far. It's a newer deck, and I didn't know how I was going to end up using it, but once I came up with the concept for this reading, it fit in really, really well. So I'm excited that I found a place for it amongst my reading structures. So, okay. Rose Oracle for group number 3. What comfort can we offer group number 3 here? The Holly, Poppet, and Endris group. What comfort can we offer to group number 3? Okay. Whispers of Mother Earth. Creativity, ideas, inspiration, artist, writer, channel. There you go. Beautiful, beautiful card here. Looking at this card, right, we definitely have some commonalities already I'm seeing between our theme card that we picked our groups from here and the imagery from this one. Let me see if I can fix that flashing light here. The lighting goes a little funky sometimes. Okay, group number 3. We added a little bit more light, so hopefully that'll stop the flickering here a bit. But so with our comfort energy that we're being offered for the situation, right? So there is different aspects of this Whispers of Mother Earth card, right? So it says creativity, ideas, inspiration, artist, writer, channel. And those sound like a lot of the little things, right? If we're talking about art, if we're talking about things that are creative, so it sounds like music, it sounds like building things and our hobbies and dance and whatever that kind of inspiration can come in, okay? So that's what that energy feels like to me. Let's get our Blossoms card now and see how these two cards work together. Enchanted Blossoms. Okay. Okay. Enchanted Blossoms for group number 3 here. What comfort can we offer them about their situation? What comfort can we offer to group number 3? Whoa. Flew out really well. Bravery. So oak leaves and purple hair streak. Okay. So off the bat here, group number 3, before I even dive into the cards with bravery on the table here, it feels like doing the creative thing, doing the thing that brings us passion and inspiration, that these little pleasures, these little joys, right? Doing these little things is an act of bravery in your situation, is a way to progress your situation. And maybe there's something that you want to do or want to be doing with your life, and haven't had the opportunity to, and you're trying to do it in small ways, right? You're trying to do it with small ways and do little things and find those pleasures of life and bring joy back to yourself. And also what it feels like is continuing to stay kind and compassionate and joyful and happy through all the difficult situations that this existence gives to us, that we have to experience just by existing purely in this world, is an act of bravery itself here, okay? So let's keep that in mind, and let me dive a little bit further into your cards now, okay? So with our 2 cards here, group number 3, it is what it says on the tin almost, is what it feels like. It feels like the meaning was obvious as I was pulling the cards anyway, and then diving a little bit further into the cards, it is what it says on the tin in this case. But what I like with the Whispers of Mother Earth here, in the description book, it's talking about the seeds that are planted within us for this creativity, this passion, this joy, this inspiration here. These seeds being planted within us and us cultivating those seeds offers this energy from our card over here to the rest of the world, right? Being the reason somebody smiles today. Seeking out those small pieces in ourselves, the things that bring us joy and light us up, also offers that energy to those around us, everybody else in our community, in our space, our loved ones. Those energies are given out as well, right? Because everybody, we has some creativity to us. Everybody has this more creative, compassionate, artistic energy within themselves, and it's been bogged down a lot, right, in our current society. But by cultivating that energy, bringing in this bravery here, the comfort from the magic shop is saying, hey, if you're brave through this situation, right, you are fostering, cultivating these little creative seeds that you have. These can grow and bloom into something really, really great and amazing that can offer a lot of compassion and joy and inspiration to the world here. Whatever the situation is here that you are working through or processing, maybe you're creating something, right? You're writing a book, you're making a new art piece, you're coming up with a new project, right? Some kind of thing. It can even be something techie, like you're making an app or a new teaching program. These things that inspire you creatively, right? But it's scary to create something and seeing how it's going to be received by the world, right? And that's where our bravery aspect comes in. The universe offering this aspect of bravery, a chance to be brave. I am not super religious by any means, but I always remember a quote where it's, if you're asking God for bravery, then God gives you opportunities to be brave, right? So he doesn't like flat out, in this case, he doesn't flat out give you bravery as an aspect or whatever, but he gives you opportunities to cultivate that, right? And we come back around to that word cultivation, which whispers of Mother Earth, that Mother Earth energy being that deep, healing, growing aspect of ourselves. And it's funny here with it feels like love and compassion here, and that's what our little dragon fellow here is giving to our friend in this cute little card here, right? We see a little heart on the tail, and there's hearts, what looks like in their little backpack here, a heart they're holding, and these little hearts coming up, right? So these little offers of joy and compassion and inspiration, and that's what you're cultivating in yourself here, it feels like. And the universe is offering you an opportunity, comforting you through ways that you need to be brave about this, ways that you need to take what's inspiring you, what you want to offer and put out to the world, and taking that step, that leap into actually finally be offering that out, right? You've maybe been building it for a long time, and like going back to like a book example where it's like you've been writing the book for a long time, you finally finished writing it, and now it's time to get people to read it. It's time to get feedback on it. It's time to offer it out to the world. It's been something that's been inside you for so long, that is something internal, and now it's time to put it out externally, put it out into the world, outernally, put it out to the world, make it external. And that requires a lot of bravery here. So the universe is presenting you opportunities to be brave, right? So maybe you, keeping with the book example, you got that call back from the person, an editor or somebody that wants to publish it, right? So you need to be brave and take that opportunity that's been presented to you and run with it now, okay? So that feels like our energy that is taking place right now, right? The comfort where it's like, hey, you are brave. You have the opportunity to be brave here and put this creation energy out into the world more, okay? So now let's get our next two cards. Get our Soul's Journey card first. Let's see what lesson this is a part of, what we are learning through this process, okay? Soul's Journey cards for group number 3. What lesson are we working through here? What lesson is taking place? What lesson is taking place? Top card, which is the one I'll end up taking here, is Balance, but we also have Freedom underneath that. So I'll read it out before I put it away here. It says, freedom. I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness, which makes sense, but keeping balance here, it says, I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. Right? So whatever we're creating here, group number 3, whatever project this is, whatever creative idea, business, book, song, painting, whatever it may be, you're asking it to be brought, it's you're being asked by the universe to bring it out into the world to help bring further balance, right? Again, going back to how difficult life can be sometimes, right? Where we're dealing with a very capitalistic or post-capitalism society right now. We need to bring balance into our lives, and we do that through these creative means, through these inspirations, and that takes a lot of bravery still, right? But let's see now with our alchemy cards how the situation is changing and progressing. Okay. Alchemy here for group number 3. How is our situation changing and progressing? How is this energy transforming? Or if it does transform, what will it look like? What's that transformation look like? Let's refocus here. What does group 3 need to know? What is changing and progressing and transforming? What does group 3 need to know? There we go. Thank you. We have Mars. A very action-oriented energy here, and kind of a... It's interesting how this kind of helps balance everything, right? But there's still a little bit of aspects. I'm seeing the color in the tail here matching our Mars energy here, but it feels like it's like, okay, this purple kind of matches this card, and then this reddish matching over here. So Mars energy off the bat feels like an energy of progression, feels like an energy of movement, definitely an energy of bravery here too, right? Mars being our war energy, our battle energy, and that energy itself requiring a lot of bravery. But let's see, I'm curious how this all connects now. So let's take a little bit deeper look at our last 2 cards as we finish up the reading here. So group number 3 with these 2 cards here, right? The Mars energy and our balance energy. And I'm remembering the freedom card that also popped up with this, which I can see why both would apply to the specific situation as well, right? But ultimately it feels like the lesson that we're learning here with balance is to equal out how life is working for us and what we need to do, right? We've been out of balance for so long. We haven't been doing this fun, creative part of ourselves for a really, really long time here, right? There's something maybe from your childhood that you used to do, something that's calling you back now at this point, right? That's like, hey, come back. I want to be explored. I want to give you ideas and inspiration, right? Or you've been like looking for that thing, whatever it is. Maybe your life doesn't feel... And I can speak from experience on this too, right? Where it's like life is difficult and trying to find, again, like we're talking about those simple pleasures, right? In order to bring life back into balance, right? We have our ups and downs and and our struggles, the things that are difficult and that we are challenging, but we need to equal that out with those small pleasures and joys and making those bigger and bolder, and having this bravery here, right? And with this Mars energy as well, to be more authentically ourselves and to bring those aspects of creativity back, right? I'm drawn to thinking of like, especially in America for our school system, right? And like a lot of the arts being cut in a lot of places. So no more like choir classes and art classes and everything, just being so focused on STEM for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Just such a strong focus on those aspects and not as much on the other pieces, these joys, these creativities, these things that make us human at the end of the day, right? So the bravery card and the Mars energy are definitely tied in really heavily together here, right? Because we need this bravery in our lives to change how our day-to-day looks. We need this bravery in order to make our life look different and have this fun and this joy that we bring to our own lives and to everybody else's life, right? So our Mars energy here is asking for your bravery in this situation, or we are coming into this bravery. And with this situation as well, this Mars energy offers you lots of power and action-oriented energy in order to bring about this balance that's been gone for a long time, right? The energy feels like, right, it's very like left-brained, that like stems part, but it's also very like passive energy where we're just living our day to day. And this creativity, this art, this exploration, this passion energy is the active energy, is the forward moving momentum energy here. With this energy here, group number 3, I hope the comfort that's being offered to you here that you can see is that the things that you think are small, the things that you think don't provide a lot of value to the world, right? Maybe you sing little songs while you're working or cleaning, or you always smile at the barista when you're getting your coffee. Those little things, right, add up and offer a lot of compassion and happiness to the world, right? That's why with this card here, they're called the whispers of Mother Earth. It's those tiny things, it's those small things. And when you have enough of those small things, there's so many of them, it balances out the scale, right? So whatever this big heavy thing is over here, and it's just like 1 or 2 big heavy things, but you balance it out with a ton of small little happy things, and eventually the energy balances out, right? This was so heavy for so long over here, and eventually we're slowly balancing everything out by adding so much of these little joys, little pleasures, little fun. And it is, in our current society, very radical at this point, right? It's going against the grain, which requires a lot of this bravery and Mars energy here, working against what society has been conditioning us into for such a long period of time, bringing all this back because we know that we're missing it at this point, right? And that's ultimately what it feels like, where it's the comfort being offered to you here in this reading, group number 3. The comfort from the magic shop is that this does have a purpose. These little joys, these little pleasures do bring smiles to people, to yourself, and to those around you. And they do matter. It is an act of bravery. It is an act of courage here with this Mars energy. And ultimately it brings everything back together, right? These little whispers bring everything back into balance ultimately, okay? So know that whatever the situation is that you're being called into, that you're dealing with, it does make a difference in the long run, okay? And that's the best comfort I can offer in this case, where it does matter. It does make a difference. It does ultimately help change things, okay? So group number 3, I hope this reading made sense to you. I hope it was helpful to you. I hope it provided some comfort and maybe even some inspiration to you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, wherever you are in space and time, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Hello, group number 4, my final group, the Kooky Cat group. So it says, make a little mischief. So with this energy here, what it feels like is coming back to a place of childlike wonder, childlike energy, healing your inner child. I'll be curious to see how the reading progresses through the different decks here that we have here, but that's just the initial impression from this card off the bat. There's not a guidebook or anything for this deck. It's just a cute little like inspirations card, little art card book that these all come out of. But very interesting, cute little energy here. I like our little kooky cat, and I like the pumpkins on the top. It makes it feel very Halloween-y, right? So that is our energy that we are starting with here, group number 4. So let us put this up here for now, and let me explain to you how the reading's going to go. So we're going to first get our comfort cards. We're going to get one from the Rose Oracle here, and then the other from the Enchanted Blossoms. So this is the comfort from the magic shop, the comfort that's being offered to you through this reading by the universe that's around you, and in regard to whatever situation that you're processing or dealing with. So yeah, one from the Rose Oracle, one from the Enchanted Blossoms, and I could when I was like building out the reading, I'm like, maybe I should have started with these ones to kind of learn the lesson, but I like starting with the comfort here in this case, and it's been working really well for the other groups. But after we get those two cards, we'll pull one from the Soul's Journey cards here, and then one from the Alchemy deck. So the Soul's Journey lesson cards are what the lesson is that we're processing, this big overall picture here, and the Alchemy cards are going to be more about the transformation, how this energy is changing and progressing, and what you can maybe expect next as you are being comforted through the situation and how it's going to change and progress. In my opinion, knowledge is power in this case, and that knowledge also brings me comfort to whatever situation I may be dealing with. And just ignore my little sticker here. Got it from the baby, so they wanted to give me a little sticker, so that'll be on my hand through the reading. It was on for group number 3 too. But let us get started now. Let's pull our cards, and let me get these guys all out of the way here. So first deck, this is the Rose Oracle. It is a newer deck in my collection, and one I'm still getting used to. This is the first major reading this deck is being used with, and I'm excited because I feel like I found a good reading for it to fit into. So, okay, Rose Oracle, what comfort can we offer group number 4, this kooky cat group? What information, what comfort can we offer here to group number 4? Almost. Group number 4, please. What can we offer to group number 4? Oh. Ooh, I'm not quite sure. There we go. Thank you. It's like, no, this one. Took a second there. Okay. So we have the second bloom. Get a good close-up on that one. The second bloom, a second chance. It's never too late. New possibilities. Okay. So we'll see how this ties in once we get our other card. But the second bloom is off the bat kind of telling me here with our kooky cat that the mischief is, going back to that like childlike energy, right? That like inner child. There's something here maybe that we were really, really passionate about during a time in our life when we were a little bit more carefree, a little bit more naive and young maybe. And this is coming back around as an opportunity here where it's like you didn't miss your chance. You didn't in terms of comfort, right? Offering comfort through this reading. You didn't miss your chance. There is another opportunity coming back around here, another bloom. And you can recapture a part of yourself maybe that you thought was lost or that you haven't had a chance to interact with in a long time. So let's get our next card here from Enchanted Blossoms. That over there. Over here. Okay. Enchanted Blossoms for group number 4 here. What comfort can we offer them? Our kooky cat group, what comfort can we offer to group number 4? That one? Nope, there's 2 there. I want 1. Okay, here, let me turn down this light for a sec. Let's see if I can get that flickering under control a little bit here, group number 4. Oh, maybe it's going to be worse. That's a little bit better. Let's see. Okay. Okay, Enchanted Blossoms, group number 4 here. What comfort can we offer them? What can we offer information-wise to group number 4? Okay, there we go. So there is one underneath, but we'll just go with this top one. But we have, ooh, happiness and magnificence. Like that a lot. So this is our magnificence card. We got bird of paradise and then common mother of pearl. Very, very pretty card. Okay. So it's drawing to me with the magnificence card here, right? Is the thought of the second bloom. Oh, we're very sorry here, group number 4. The camera is very interesting right now with this. Let's see, what if you... There we go. Okay. When I think of blooming, right, we're talking about bloom, second bloom here, and this coming into ourselves, coming into a new version of ourselves. Gosh, that freaking flickering can't get itself under control, can it? Interesting energy here for you, group number 4, right? I guess it kind of ties in with our kooky cat here, where he just like, we're just gonna be a little silly. There's mischief, right? We're talking about mischief in this group. Make a little mischief. So there's definitely some spirit mischievous energy going on with your reading. So anyway, second bloom here. And the talk of magnificence. Let's focus, please. Come on. There we go. The talk of a second bloom here, it not being too late, there are new possibilities coming in, and this energy of magnificence, right? Where it's like, hey, there is a new thing coming about here. There is big new energy taking place here that is wanting to show itself and come through you, okay? So let's take a little bit deeper look into these two cards now, okay? So group number 4. With these two cards out, let's see if I can... Let's ignore the changing light and flickering light to mess with my camera settings a bit more. But anyway, so with magnificence out here in our second bloom, it is kind of what I was talking about earlier with our kooky cat energy, right? Where there's something here that wants to come out, make a little mischief, it says. Something... probably from the past, whatever you're exploring, some past interests that you had in your youth, potentially a older part of yourself that didn't get to do the thing it wanted to do. Right now, the universe, the comfort that's being offered to you is showing that you're seen, right? You pursuing this new thing shows that this is a new opportunity, a new chance to bloom something new in your life, to bring about a new opportunity and to live in this magnificence, right? Whatever this thing is that you are pursuing or that you're interested in, there is a lot of potential here. There is a lot of possibility here, and it's you living your life authentically, right? And that brings out this magnificence, this bigger, positive, brighter energy, right? Being actually able to bloom fully in this case and live in a more authentic way, right? Our kooky cat here does not care how they look, how they are perceived, and is enjoying making a little mischief, having some fun. And that's ultimately the magnificence card here as well, right? This energy of really showing off who you truly are and connecting with that energy and being much more present in self, coming into a new way of being and feeling confident in that version of yourself here, okay? So those are our two comfort cards here. Lots of good comforting energy, seeing like, no, hey, you're there. You all will be seen in a very upbeat and positive way, a very lovely and beautiful way here, the second bloom of magnificence. So let us see now. Let's get a little bit more knowledge here. Let's get our soul's journey card and see what this is about. Okay. Soul's journey cards for group number 4, our kooky cat group. What lesson is this a part of? What are they learning through this process here as we're offering them comfort in this reading? What are they learning here? What is the lesson at hand? Whoa. Okay. Okay, imagination makes sense, but forgiveness ultimately. Which also makes sense, and I'm drawn to the orange of our, what's it called? Bird of Paradise up here, and then ultimately this forgiveness has this orange, and then it kind of ties in with our pumpkin over here, right? This card is definitely a very Halloween-y type card to me. But it says forgiveness. I acknowledge that the harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. So off the bat, it feels like here, group number 4, that we have something that we feel bad that we didn't pursue when we were younger, that we feel bad that we need a second chance on. And we are learning to forgive ourselves that we didn't do it the way we didn't do it when we maybe feel like we should have the first time around. But what I'm sure is probably going to come out, and this is kind of just the intuition I'm getting, we'll see what actually comes out here with alchemy, but what it feels like though is you have much more knowledge now this time, you have much more skill, you are much better prepared in order for the second bloom to be maybe even more magnificent than the first bloom might have been, okay? Let's get our alchemy card now and see how these two work together here. Alchemy for group number 4 here. How is the situation changing and progressing? How is the situation transforming? Oh, there's 2 there. Which one? Which one? I can't. Okay, this one. Darkening? Okay, what is this other one? Wise salt. That's the knowledge that we were missing before, for sure. Wise salt. I'll just kind of keep that up there. But the darkening card. Interesting card. Again, we have that orange energy coming out here. So orange tying very heavily in with our sacral chakra, our creativity. So again, I come back to something that lit you up when you were younger. That was something that your inner child really liked, that made you really creative. So that's all that orange energy coming out here in this, 4 of the 5 cards here. So let's look a little bit deeper at these 2 cards now and how they tie in together. So for you here, group number 4, forgiveness and the darkening. The darkening is a very interesting card. This deck, both me and my best friend have, and she was doing a reading with it the other day. And she got a card that talked about darkness, but it was a very different kind of darkness than this one is. This is the kind of darkness, the darkening that happens when a seed is planted and it's in the dark of the soil. And it sprouts up and becomes something new, right? The second bloom that we're talking about. And this seed energy here with the darkening, it's coming into something new, right? We are coming into the second bloom and really showing off who we are and what we're going to be, right? Like I was saying earlier, especially with this wise salt energy also coming out, and it felt very relevant to your reading here, group number 4, is whatever happened in the past, whatever situation that you are trying to forgive yourself for, that you feel like you didn't do right the first time around with our second bloom energy here. Whatever that energy may be, is you are much more informed now than you were before. You have much more skill. You have much more in terms of skill set and a lot more knowledge and awareness than you did before, right? And with that power, with that knowledge comes more power and ability, and ultimately more fun, right? We come back around to our kooky cat energy over here, and him just playing around, and I'm assuming going with a him, but he's kind of surrounded by some dark energy, right? He's kind of surrounded by some of that darkening, and it is a fun energy. It's knowing where we're at, right? And being able to enjoy the process as it's happening, right? ultimately this reading is about comfort and offering you comfort in whatever situation you're in, right? You're working through forgiving yourself for the past that's happened. And with that, you knowing that you are being planted, right? That you are coming into this fresh, new, abundant energy. You're coming into the second bloom, allows you to have a little fun with it and just kind of enjoy the process. Like I want to like kind of like sway in my chair right here, right? Because it's knowing that we are able to, we have this freedom here that we didn't have before, right? With this coming into this magnificent, showing who we really, truly, truly are. And that allows for lots of new possibilities, new things, new fun, new energies. Let's see if we can focus. Maybe. It's really thinking about it. There we go. A second chance. It's never too late. New possibilities, right? This darkening is those new possibilities. This darkening here is saying, hey, nope, we are growing a fresh garden now. This is new energy that we're putting into the situation, new energy that is taking place. And the beauty of this garden when it comes into bloom is going to be magnificent. So don't worry about the fact that you messed up the garden the first time, right? You planted the wrong things next to the wrong things, or you fertilized it wrong, right? You've cleared out that space. You've redone all the soil here. You know now, you've done this research that you didn't have before, this knowledge you didn't have. And now you can have a little bit of fun with it, right? You can gently tease or like tease your past self being like, well, I made that mistake. That was silly of me. And move on from that. And enjoy the process as these new things bloom for you, right? Forgiving that past version of yourself who made whatever mistakes it may have been. And knowing that it's like, okay, maybe it actually wasn't that big of a deal. Depending on what it is, of course. Always caveats to every situation. But we can have a little bit more fun in this situation now. We can know that what we come into here, the comfort that's being offered to you, what you're coming into here, group number 4, is going to be very, very beautiful and fun and playful. It feels so much lighter, right? So as you're processing through the situation, you're down here, right? You're forgiving yourself and you feel like you're in the dark right now. Just know that you're coming out of that energy, right? It's almost like with our wise salt that's kind of just hanging out over here that I've kept in the reading. It's this dark and like monotone coming out to this rainbow, right? The magnificence at the end. And being able to enjoy the process as it's coming about and knowing that you're doing good, okay? So enjoy the ride, right? In this case, it's about the journey, not so much the destination. And you just get to move through this life, this new opportunity, these new possibilities. And we're always going to make mistakes in the future. That's just kind of what happens, right? But being able to laugh it off here with our kooky cat energy is going to be what offers you the best comfort in the long run. That it's maybe not as big of a deal as it may feel initially. Maybe it is a big deal, who knows? But down the line, when years pass and things have come into this full bloom and this big second bloom, you can look back and it won't feel as big of a deal as it does now, okay? So group number 4, I hope this reading was helpful to you. I hope it made sense. I hope it brought you some comfort to whatever situation you're going through and dealing with. It's a very interesting energy, but despite having a little bit darker card here and everything and working through a big life lesson here, forgiveness, there is a lot of lightness and brevity to the situation. The outcome is very, very beautiful here, okay? So have fun through this journey, and I hope this reading was helpful to you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are in space and time, and I will see you in the next reading. Have a good one. Bye.